Yo, what's up, guys? Today I am coming to you guys with a UFC champions tier list. Now, I'm making this list right after UFC 321, where Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane went to a no contest, and Mackenzie Dern beat Jandiroba for the women's strawweight title. All right, so Mackenzie Dern right away going in at the bottom of the tier list. She is 3-5 in her last 5 fights. She is coming off of 3 straight wins, but she is not a lineal champion. And with Zhang Weili leaving the division so recently, I honestly don't think she is on that level. And I don't think she's going to be holding the belt for very long. Honestly, I think she might be losing to Tatiana Suarez if they give Tatiana a title shot. Mackenzie Dern has struggled against any woman that shows any type of physicality, like Lemos and like Jessica Andrade. If she goes up against Tatiana Suarez, I think she's definitely losing that fight. We might be looking at no title defenses for her. Up next on the list, we have one of the GOATs, greatest woman of all time, Bullet Valentina Shevchenko. She has a crazy resume, honestly. Her only losses coming to Alexa Grasso at the tail end of her career and the GOAT and Amanda Nunes. Honestly, her resume is crazy. We have to give her some respect. Slapping her in the B tier. Her resume is crazy. I'm looking at it right now. Win over Holly Holm, Juliana Pena, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Smoked on everybody in the division. Jessica Andrade. A trilogy with Grasso that was really weird. I think she won 2 out of the 3 fights, but they gave Alexa Grasso a draw in her first title defense. And most recently, she beat Fiora, which I saw some people saying that Fiora would beat her, especially in the tail end of her career. And she still managed to pull that off. She's coming up on a really tough title defense against Weili. Honestly, Weili would probably be right here next to her if she hadn't let go of the title. I think Weili might be able to edge out Valentina Shevchenko, especially since this isn't prime Valentina anymore. I think Zhang Weili might be the title holder in this division soon. But for now, we have Valentina Shevchenko in the B tier, one of the best women's fighters of all time. Now, in the women's bantamweight division, we have Kayla Harrison as a champion. And now let me tell you something about Kayla Harrison. She has the misfortune of being the champion in the absolute worst division in the sport. Now, I'm not going to put her F. I'm going to put her in D because she is undefeated in the UFC, and it's not her fault that the division is terrible. She's really good. Probably going to snag a title defense or 2 and then call it a career. Won't be remembered as one of the GOATs, but she'll probably be the last solid bantamweight women's fighter for a while. Now, chat, getting into the men's divisions, this is where things are getting good. First champion we are going to be talking about is Alexandre Pantoja. He is currently sitting at 4 title defenses. And honestly, he has to go in the B tier. Now, reason I don't put him A or S is because although he is a good champion, he did lose to Davidson Figueiredo. And I think if Figueiredo were to make his way back down to 125, he would dethrone Pantoja. I just don't think Figueiredo wants to do that weight cut anymore. So Pantoja will probably keep reigning. He does have a title defense coming up against Joshua Van. Now I like Joshua Van. I love his fighting style. Always in the fire, throwing hands. Had a great fight against Royval, but he is not on the level of someone like Pantoja. I think Pantoja is gonna make Van realize that he has a lot to work on. The grappling is just gonna be too much. And guys, have you guys noticed Pantoja has a 3-round gas tank, but in the 4th and 5th round, he is just the most elite survivalist in the sport. Against Brandon Moreno, he is gassed in the 4th round. He backpacks Moreno for 2 rounds in a row. His grappling is just too dominant for everybody else in this division. He just, in the grappling, he is on a 1 step above everybody else. And that's what lets him close out every single fight on top, 4th and 5th round. Every time he's winning them. His closest fight as a champion was against Steve Erceg, which at the time I think Steve Erceg was like number 8 or 9th ranked in the division. And Steve Erceg hasn't been looking too hard recently, which is another reason why we're putting him at B. His toughest fight or title defense was not up against the greatest competition, which does bring up some questions about his ability as a whole. Now, up next, guys, we are talking about one of the champs that I currently like the least, but I have to give this guy his respects because, honestly, his fighting style is infuriating, but, man, he is a cheat code. Merab is going straight into the S tier. This guy looks like he has at least 3 more years of just straight championship reign, dogging everybody. He has already defended his belt 3 times this year against Umar, Sean O'Malley, and Corey Sandhagen. And he has a 4th title defense lined up against Petr Yan in December. He lives up to his name. He is the machine. He fights 4 times a year as the champion. This man is making sure he makes the most out of the pay-per-view, the pay-per-view points before it gets packed up with the Paramount deal. In the octagon, I hate his fighting style. If I'm going to be honest with y'all, I hate it. But he gets the job done. I mean, it's one of those things where he's constantly grinding and nobody can stop him. He can't control people with the wrestling. He doesn't really get any type of top control. But he could just take you down over and over and over and over again. And by the 4th and 5th round, I mean, it's like this man is like a grappling cheeser in the UFC games. 4th or 5th round, he has a full stamina bar. His ops are working with a 1/4 of a stamina bar. They try anything, their stamina is flashing. Honestly, sometimes his fighting style doesn't even make sense how ridiculous his gas tank is. And that is why he is our first S tier champion. Now up next, guys, we have Alexander Volkanovski. Now this guy has to sit right up here in the A tier. Now he would be S pre-Topuria, but post-Topuria, I can't put him up there as much as I want to. We saw that there is a featherweight in the world that is just miles clear of him. Smoked him in 2 rounds, laid him out cold. And a lot of people say it was because of the short turnaround after the Makhachev KO. But honestly, watching the replays, that shot is putting him out 10 out of 10 times. And on top of people saying the 3-month turnaround, Topuria did the same thing to my GOAT, Charles Oliveira. Bro, if he's sleeping lightweights, featherweights don't stand a chance. I don't know how Josh Emmett survived Topuria so much. But that tangent aside, Volkanovski, debatably featherweight GOAT with that asterisk asterisk of Topuria. This guy has beat Jose Aldo, which I don't ever want to hear people say Jose Aldo is the featherweight GOAT ever again. Like, that's been disproved for like 50 years now. I don't know how there's still Jose Aldo defenders putting him above even Max Holloway. But Volk has 3 title defenses against Holloway. Went crazy against Ortega after Ortega snatched up 2 of the deepest submissions I've ever seen. Showed straight dog. And that was the turnaround for Volkanovski's career. I remember pre-Ortega fight, a lot of people hated on him. Post-Ortega fight, he started getting a lot more glaze. People started loving him. And he started becoming the champion that everybody loves today, where he actually has some recognition for how good he is. He put a beating on Ortega, smoked on the Korean Zombie, went to war with Islam Makhachev, won 2 out of 5 rounds against a bigger guy who wrestles a lot and had the size advantage, length advantage, had a great showing, ended the fight with a knockdown in the final minute. He beat Yair Rodriguez, which was a scary fight for him. And then after coming out of that Topuria KO, comes back to people doubting him and beats on what seems to be the most promising prospect in the division aside from Movsar Evloev. He beats Diego Lopez via decision. Has a scary moment in the second round where he gets knocked down by Lopez, comes back, rallies, wins the fight. Volkanovski, over the years, proven to be one of the greats of the sport. Unfortunately, can't make it to the S because of Topuria. But other than that, definite A tier. Probably top of the A tier. A smidge under S. One of the greatest fighters of all time. Now, we have Volk's asterisk, the current lightweight champion, Ilia Topuria himself. Now, guys, how do you not put Ilia Topuria in the S tier? With him putting Volk out cold, TKOing Max Holloway. Keep in mind, Max Holloway had never been finished before this fight. He goes out there and does it in 3 rounds in spectacular fashion. Lays him down. If the ref doesn't come in, he's ground and pounding Max Holloway through the canvas, genuinely putting that boy to sleep. And then he comes up to lightweight. And, I mean, the guy aura farms for a week. Walks up to Charles Oliveira. He says, "Sorry it had to be you," to my GOAT's face. Which is like the most disrespectful thing to say to someone. Sorry I didn't want it to be you. That's an insane bar to be hitting somebody with. And then what does he do? 2 minutes into the fight, Oliveira comes into the pocket. 1, 2, 3 from Topuria. And he just slumps my GOAT. My jaw was on the floor when I saw that. And man, I mean, honestly, what I think is probably the greatest 3-fight winning streak of all time. And I don't think there's anybody in that lightweight division that is going to give him any semblance of a problem. Rumor right now is Paddy Pimblett is going to get the next title shot. So we might be seeing Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. And honestly, Pimblett's going to be lucky to get out of the first round with him. I don't think the grappling of Pimblett is anywhere near Charles Oliveira's. And Ilia Topuria was passing through Charles's guard like Charles isn't a jiu-jitsu black belt. It's ridiculous. It's like he had sliders on in the video game, and he had his grappling slider all the way up. He's genuinely a phenom in the sport. He looks unstoppable. He has aura. He's originally a grappler. Developed some of the most ridiculous boxing in the sport. And honestly, I see 3 to 4 more title defenses before he probably goes up to welterweight, because he seems like that type of guy. He seems like the type of guy that's just going to be here 3, 4, 5 more years, chase greatness, dip out the sport, probably go undefeated in both featherweight and lightweight. I don't know how he would do against them welterweights. And one thing I do want to say, guys, After JDM smokes on that Islam pack, he is putting Islam out cold when Islam comes back down. And it will be brutal, man. I'm talking the same way he got slept the first time, except worse, because he'll actually be out cold. Ilia Topuria, all the signs of greatness. He has the one-liners at press conferences. The only thing is, if he could translate those one-liners from Spanish to English, he'll genuinely instant star. I don't know why the UFC doesn't push him more, but he is undeniably an S-tier champion. Up next, guys, we have the welterweight champion, one of my favorite fighters. I was actually there for his first fight at UFC 270 in Anaheim for his first fight. And honestly, watching him stick out that jab, box up his opponent, I knew this guy had all the signs of a special talent. JDM, Giacomo Della Maddalena, goes in the C tier. Now, guys, JDM as a fighter is not a C tier fighter. JDM as a fighter is all the way up here. But as a champion, he's newly minted, coming up on his first title defense against the former lightweight champion Islam Makhachev. Chat, that fight is going to be an absolute banger. I do have JDM beating Islam, but we don't know that yet. We don't know the outcome yet. And because of that, JDM is going in the C tier. He beat Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad has wins over a lot of top fighters like Sean Brady, like Leon Edwards. And some of that legacy carries over to JDM. JDM has a lot of promise. I hope he beats Islam Makhachev. Honestly, after beating Islam Makhachev, it's an instant jump into the A tier. Just because Islam Makhachev, right now, number 2 pound for pound, formerly number 1 pound for pound. Islam Makhachev is a problem. And if he beats him, JDM is blowing up. Up next, guys, we have another newly minted champion in Khamzat Chimaev. Now, guys, I have to put him in the D tier. Khamzat had the most auraless performance against DDP. And I know some of you guys might be saying it's DDP's fault because he wasn't able to get out of the bad positions. He was getting put in crucifixes. But guys, Khamzat had this guy in a crucifix multiple times in a single fight and was scared to go for big shots. 12-6 elbows are legal. He was throwing little baby elbows, not putting any weight on them, scared to lose the position against somebody who was showing that he was vastly inferior in the grappling. That usual super aggressive Khamzat Chimaev that we got used to, nowhere to be seen in his first championship bout. And he's probably going to be out of the octagon for another year as per usual. This guy rarely fights. And honestly, compared to his hype that he had in 2021, this guy is a shadow of himself. He has none of the aura. He comes to press conference talking about, I smashed this guy, I killed this guy. No, he is going to hug this guy, pin this guy down, throw weak ground and pound, not chase a finish, not chase a sub, and play it extremely safe with his gas tank. Play it safe with the grappling, not have any exchanges. And it's going to be a boring title reign from Khamzat Chimaev. Honestly, a lot of the matchups in the division just don't look that fun. There's Fluffy Hernandez, which, I mean, unless Fluffy has a level of grappling that we just haven't seen defensively, this fight might just be an absolute snooze fest where Khamzat once again plays it safe, hugs him up on the floor, no big ground and pound, doesn't chase any subs. And we just need somebody in the middleweight division that's really good at stopping the grappling. And then we could have a Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington type of situation where two really good grapplers can't grapple each other and they throw hands for 5 rounds. And we could see if Khamzat Chimaev really has that dog in him. But until we see something better out of Hamzat, after that last title performance, I don't even want to tune in for his next fight because I just know it's going to be a snooze fest. He's not even on that level of Merab where he's just dominating the guy. No, it's boring lay and pray on his opponents. Not looking forward to the next Hamzat Chimaev fight coming probably late 2026. Now up next, we have one of my favorite fighters in the light heavyweight division, Alex Pereira, coming in the A tier. Alex Pereira has defended the belt 4 times, won 3 of the title defenses. His one loss in his title defenses, he redeemed in his last fight against Ankalaev. Came out, finished him in 1 minute and 20 seconds, and reclaimed his gold. Honestly, that loss to Adesanya, greatest thing that ever happened to this guy. He became middleweight champion, knocked out the next fight, and then he got to light heavyweight and he just started putting in work. Beats Yuri for the vacant belt because Jamal Hill had to vacate because of injury. After Yuri vacated because of injury. So this was practically Alex Pereira beating the champion, the lineal champion, in Yuri Prochazka. Beats him after some adversity from Yuri, which, I mean, Yuri, as we've seen, Yuri's that guy. I don't think Yuri loses to anybody that isn't named Alex Pereira. It's just that left hook is ridiculous. He goes on to smoke Jamal Hill, makes him a meme, drops an edit telling Herb Dean, I'm good, after a low blow, and then puts him to sleep with a shovel uppercut, hits him with the look at him 3 times, walks off. Great performance. Then rematches Yuri Prochazka, makes it look way easier, completely figures out Yuri Prochazka. Big left hook at the end of the first round. Yuri after the bell telling him to come down into the grappling, completely out of his wits. Second round, boom, head kick. Say they saw this in the locker room before the fight even started. Crazy to just be able to call your shot like that. Then he has a super tough fight against Khalil Roundtree, which has been showing that he has a solid level in MMA, only losing to Yuri Prochazka, which, I mean, that guy's an animal. Smokes him in the 4th round, puts him down. You guys have seen the edits. This guy is weaving out of the way of every single shot. Head movement on fleek, looking crazy. Hitting him with pull counters. Just showing Roundtree levels. And then we have Pereira versus Ankalaev 1. Goes out there, loses a decently boring fight. They go back and forth. Alex Pereira does struggle a lot against southpaw fighters, and there's a lot of southpaw fighters in the light heavyweight division. That first loss to Ankalaev, in my eyes, is fully redeemed. He goes out there in the second fight, talks a lot about him not being fully fit in the first fight, comes out, shows levels. 1 round, catches him with 1 big 2 over the top. Ankalaev just quits, hits the Anthony Smith special, folds on the floor, fetal position, gets hit with a bunch of 12-6 elbows. Pereira's champ once again. Definite A tier. Crazy amount of legacy that he's been able to build in the sport over the course of 4 years. I still remember hearing about him when his first fight in LFA. Shout out to Weasel for letting me know. I still remember watching the Weasel's video talking about Pereira coming to MMA, not even the UFC, coming to MMA and his first fight at LFA, and look at him now. A-tier champion. And then, guys, last champion on the list. You guys know who it is. Tommy Boy Aspinall. Now, his ranking is not his fault, honestly. But I have to put him here in the C tier. Tom Aspinall won the interim belt against Sergey Pavlovich. Now, keep in mind, Sergey Pavlovich has lost all his aura, but that is due to Tom Aspinall. Before the Tom Aspinall fight, Sergey was a machine. He looked crazy scary. He looked like Francis Ngannou 2.0. He was getting everybody out of there. Tom Aspinall comes out, smokes him 1 round, puts him down with 2 big rights straight to the temple, and down he goes. Tom Aspinall becomes interim champion, and then the other guy, he who mustn't be named, plays games, forces Tom to defend an interim title, despite the actual heavyweight champion being healthy, but just not wanting to fight, which is really weird. Defends against Curtis Blades, which was a loss on his record. Redeems himself. Honestly, the loss wasn't even a loss. He got injured. Smokes Curtis Blades. The Curtis Blades win was iffy, but he did what he needed to do. And then the Ciryl Gane fight. No contest. Honestly, Tom Aspinall has been very unlucky. Hopefully we see a turnaround in his career. He's able to string a couple fights together without anything going wrong. Honestly, the guy seems like a great guy. One of the most skilled heavyweights of all time, easily, not even debatable. And I think, aside from Ciryl Gane, you guys have seen the DC clip of him talking to Tom, telling him that nobody on this division can put in any type of resistance against him. And honestly, I agree. Tom Aspinall can be great, but as far as what he's done so far, as a champion, definite C tier. 1 interim title defense and a no contest. Can't bring myself to put him any higher. Honestly, guys, this has been my UFC Champions tier list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you guys like the tier list or if you guys want me to make other types of videos. And I'll see you guys next time.